Well, I'm Vasanthi Hariprakash from NDTV. It's to do with the renewable energy thing that you mentioned. I mean, I'm glad to note the happy figures, but I want to have your comment on a state like Karnataka, for instance, where I'm told that 9% of our state's energy comes from renewable energy. But how do you then explain a thermal power plant hotspot like Raichur? I've just brought this up yesterday in this discussion. I mean, absolute brazen violation of laws. There are, this thing not followed. A project which was not sanctioned by your ministry went on to be inaugurated by the chief minister before they later on discovered the blunder.
BJP chief minister, it's okay.
Which project is this? Which project is this?
Yermaris. That project.
Yeah.
Now, I want to ask you, A, why are they so, not responsible about selecting power plant sites? And secondly, what is stopping the success story of renewable energy plants?
I think first thing to realize is that as a proportion, I choose my words very carefully, renewables as a proportion of power generating capacity is 8%. Renewables as a proportion of power supply is 2%. Okay, so the capacity is there, but they work at 20% or 30% of the time. The windmills are there, but the windmills generate power only 20% or 30% of the time. Now, renewable energy is an important option, but to think that renewable energy is going to be a major option for India with a population by the year 2030 or 2040 of 1.6 or 1.7 billion people, I think is living in a romantic world. We have to live in the real world. Renewables in India have load specific significance and location specific significance. In Ladakh, for example, will be all renewable. Okay? There will be large parts of tribal India far away from the grid where renewable will have economic applications. Western Ghats, which you cannot deforest Western Ghats for a variety of ecological reasons, renewables will play a very important role. But renewables cannot be the answer to India's problems. I think this is a very, very important point that we need to keep in mind. For a country of India, clean coal is a very, very significant energy option. Nuclear, in spite of what environmentalists say, nuclear is a major option. Hydropower, in spite of all the problems that we face, will be an option. And renewables, of course, as I said, will have local significance. But renewables cannot be the driver in an economy like India. It will be one of the engines, but it cannot be the driver. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I'm Alka from Lucknow. And you have just mentioned that you want to improve the forest cover.
Oh.
So if afforestation is the answer, then how are you going to monitor? Because the problem is that plants are planted, but there's no monitoring.
Yeah.
There was a very good question from a friend from Manipur. Maybe you can repeat it to the minister again.
Please, Manipur.
Manipur.
So I was saying in the morning that I belong to a club and we have been planting trees since late 70s. And one colleague who is a photojournalist, he said if you count the number of trees planted by the government at the state and the center, we would have no place to stay in Manipur. But his photographs exhibit that we have a lot of forests which is completely denuded. And he's got pictures, abundant pictures of all the mountain tops, which are completely naked, of course. Now, how do you monitor? It's the same thing what Ms. Alka is asking.
I want to outsource monitoring. I want to make concurrent evaluation by field level NGOs part of our monitoring exercise. So that 5 years from now, we don't see what my friend from Manipur says, that if all the money had been spent, all of Manipur would have been under forests. I think we should build an online system of monitoring. In China, day before yesterday, I was awed by the fact that the Chinese Ministry of Environment has online monitoring of 7,000 industrial units, which account for 60% of pollution in China. Similarly, in forestry, I think we need to change the way we do the monitoring. Right now, the monitoring is based only once in 2 years. We do the satellite-based imagery, and that satellite-based imagery does not capture, small plantations. It only captures after 7 years. That's one limitation. And secondly, we don't invest on ground truthing. We don't invest enough on ground truthing. We just wait for departments to give their data. And you know how they calculate the data? The average cost is 30,000 rupees per hectare. If you have given them 1 crore, they divide 1 crore by 30,000 and say so many hectares have been afforested, planted. So we have to change the way we do monitor. I'm not promising any miracles. But I think if you change the system of monitoring and you bring a better level of supervision from the outside, it is possible for us to get real plantations as opposed to paper plantations. Okay, let's take 3 more, yeah.